As of 2023, the United States has a staggering national debt of over $31 trillion. That's not just a number, it's a burden that weighs heavily on every American, from the youngest child to the oldest retiree. You see, our nation's leaders have been mortgaging America's future for decades, and the consequences are dire. It's no secret that politicians love to spend money. After all, it's a surefire way to get re-elected. But what's less well known is the devastating impact this reckless spending has on the economy. According to a report by the Congressional Budget Office, if we don't get our debt under control, interest payments alone will consume nearly 20% of the entire federal budget by 2050. Just think about that for a moment. That's $1 out of every $5 going towards paying off debts rather than funding vital public services like education and health care. It's a recipe for disaster. And it gets worse. With the national debt growing at an alarming rate, our economy is increasingly vulnerable to shocks from global markets and economic downturns. It's not just a problem for politicians or Wall Street bankers, it's a ticking time bomb that will affect every single American. That's why we need to take action now, before it's too late. In this video, we'll be exploring the shocking truth about America's debt problem, and most importantly, what you can do to avoid financial disaster in your own life. As we stand at the precipice of a new era in American finance, one fact stands out like a beacon warning us of impending doom: our national debt has reached an all-time high. As of 2023, the United States has accumulated a staggering $31.04 trillion in federal debt, with no signs of slowing down. To put this into perspective, consider that just over 2 decades ago, in the year 2000, our national debt stood at a relatively modest $5.07 trillion. The sheer scale of this debt is mind-boggling. If you were to stack $1 bills on top of each other, the distance from the Earth's surface to the moon would be roughly equivalent to the height of our national debt. This staggering sum represents not only a financial burden but also a ticking time bomb waiting to unleash its fury upon our economy. The numbers are alarming. Over the past 2 decades alone, we've added over $25 trillion in new debt, with no end in sight. The consequences of this reckless spending are far-reaching and dire. Higher interest rates, inflation, and even recession are all potential outcomes if left unchecked. But what's most concerning is that our children and grandchildren will be forced to bear the weight of this crushing burden, a legacy we're bequeathing them without hesitation or remorse. As we delve deeper into the world of American debt, you might be surprised by who's behind some of these staggering numbers. Politicians on both sides of the aisle have contributed to this crisis through reckless spending and failed economic policies. But don't just take our word for it. In the next section, we'll explore the shocking truth about America's debt problem and reveal the surprising culprits responsible for this financial catastrophe. As we continue to explore the alarming state of America's debt problem, it's essential to understand the key developments that have contributed to this crisis. One pivotal moment came in 2001 when President George Bush signed the Economic Growth and Tax Relief Reconciliation Act, a sweeping tax cut that reduced federal revenues by over $800 billion. This monumental change was followed by the devastating impact of the 2008 financial crisis, which saw global economic output plummet by nearly 4. In response, the government implemented massive stimulus packages, further increasing the national debt. By 2010, America's debt had soared to an astonishing $13 trillion, a staggering 60% increase from just 5 years prior. Fast forward to 2023, and the numbers are even more dire. Our national debt has ballooned to over $31 trillion, a hopping 140 of our country's self. A hopping 100. Our 100 content about until you To put this into perspective, that's equivalent to every American taking on an additional $92,000 in personal debt. The consequences of such reckless spending are dire: rising interest payments, decreased credit ratings, and increased economic volatility. The evidence is clear. America's debt problem has been building for decades, fueled by a toxic combination of tax cuts, government stimulus, and unchecked spending. It's time to face the shocking truth about our nation's financial situation and take concrete steps towards avoiding financial disaster. But before we can do that, it's crucial to understand the root causes of this crisis and its far-reaching implications for our economy and our future. As we continue to explore the shocking truth about America's debt problem, it's essential to understand the depth and complexity of this issue. The national debt is not just a statistic. It has real-world implications that affect every single American. To put it into perspective, as of 2023, the United States has a staggering national debt of over $31 trillion. That's more than 3 times the entire of the country. It's like having an economy-sized credit card bill with no end in sight. This monumental debt is not just a product of reckless spending. It's also the result of decades of neglect and complacency. Politicians from both parties have failed to address this issue, instead choosing to kick the can down the road by passing the buck to future generations. The consequences are dire: rising interest rates, inflated prices, and reduced economic growth. It's no wonder that the national debt is now considered a ticking time bomb, poised to unleash financial chaos if left unchecked. To make matters worse, the debt is not just concentrated among government entities. Individual Americans are also shouldering an enormous burden. The average American household debt has reached a whopping $144,000, with credit card debt accounting for over 40 of that total. It's like having a never-ending cycle of debt repayment, with no clear exit strategy. As we delve deeper into the financial disaster that awaits America, if this issue is not addressed, you will learn how to avoid the pitfalls and take control of your own financial destiny. As we continue to explore the shocking truth about America's debt problem, let's take a closer look at the numbers. By 2023, the United States has amassed an astonishing national debt of over